And welcome back to The Wrap. Washington, D.C.'s Transit Authority deciding today to ban all issue-oriented ads at a cost of roughly $2 to $3 million in revenue in an effort to keep Pamela Geller from advertising a Mohammed cartoon. The drawing won first place at an event in Texas this month, you may remember, where two gunmen, reportedly inspired by ISIS, were shot and killed after they opened fire on security. The contest was inspired by the American Freedom Defense Initiative. The group is now seeking approval for an ad calling on Americans to support free speech. It includes a cartoon of Mohammed waving a sword and shouting, quote, "You can't draw me." The group's founder, Pamela Geller, put out this statement: "There is nothing about this cartoon, that incites violence. It is within the established American tradition of satire. If America surrenders on this point, the freedom of speech is a relic of history." Apparently, the Washington, D.C. Transit Authority disagreed. Brad, do you agree with the decision?
I don't agree with their decision. I happen to hate these ads. I think they're a bad idea. But the reason I don't agree with their decision is they punted. They actually, rather than take a position and make certain legitimate distinctions, they said, who are we to make distinctions? Healthy cultures are in the business of making those distinctions. And I know you're going to say the courts have never allowed that. Then we should keep relitigating it and figure out where the line is. We made a decision. We don't advertise cigarettes in public conveyances because it's bad for the public health. The truth of the matter is Pamela Geller would love these ads to incite violence. If they incited violence, it would prove that she's correct. She, in fact, may be. Everything she says is not wrong. But you can make a good case a bad way, and that is exactly what she is doing. And there's no reason why civil or public utilities should be supporting that.
Heather, why is Brad wrong?
Well, I'm not going to say that Brad is wrong, but under the law, here's the deal. It's been litigated. It's been litigated in Boston. It's been litigated in Chicago, D.C., just recently in Philadelphia. Every court has said that the First Amendment mandates that she is able to do this, and it's been her organization in each one of those cases. In fact, the New York court has actually said fear of spontaneous attacks is not enough to outweigh the First Amendment, and this is what the First Amendment is for. I mean, it can drive some people to violence to see the flag burning, and yet we do not outlaw that because of the First Amendment right that is so inherent in our rights as Americans. So while I agree with the fact that everyone believes, the majority of Americans believe that what she says is distasteful, it is the most important of our rights, many of us believe, and that's why the courts have said that she's allowed to do it. And to just say we're not going to have those ads anymore, it's like saying we're not going to have books because we might not like the content of certain books. It's ridiculous.
Judge Unger, how do you rule?
Heather makes a very compelling argument. She does, and everything she said is correct. The courts have absolutely substantiated it. I too hate these ads, so I'm not in the least bit sorry to see them go. It's too bad that this was the only way that Washington could get around it, and it was the only way. I think there's no question that had it gone to court there, you'd have the same resolution. It would be ordered to be put up. You know, you can't legislate bad taste, apparently, and I think that Pamela Geller behaves in the worst possible taste. But we can't legislate that away.
Are you surprised that she's continuing these contests as she is after what happened last time, where a security guard got shot in the leg and
not only do I think she doesn't care, I think this is what they want to have happen. Yeah. The worse the response is, the more it proves her claim that if you give Muslims a chance, not a particular Muslim, not a particular ideology within Islam, but anyone who identifies as a Muslim, they will go violent. They will become terrorists. Actually, that's the problem with this. And by the way, I agree with you. If this was about putting these ads up in general, that is her right, however offensive it may be. And it's a sacred right that trumps however disgusting the ads are. But I don't think that's necessarily the same, or should be the same, when the government puts it up on the side of their institutions. And that's the distinction I would make. But no, the really ugly part here, Joe, is I think she wants bad stuff to happen.
Wow. Doesn't she have her own security team?
Yes, she does.
That will protect her so everybody else gets shot and they'll get her out of the building?
She does, but you know, whether or not she, you know, I go back to the same point, but you know, we were just talking about this during the break, in Iran they have a Holocaust cartoon contest, which is abhorrent and horrible, and they do it, they say, in order to show the double standard, but you don't see people getting killed there. And so if we start taking away First Amendment rights because we are afraid of violence, where do we end up? I think that it is such an important thing, and it's an important thing that we do not back down on these issues.
You can't argue that point.
Meanwhile, in Phoenix, another group will be holding an anti-Islam rally tomorrow outside of a mosque. It will also feature a Draw Mohammed cartoon contest. Those are popular these days, apparently. At this point, do you think the organizers are almost hoping for violence at this event?
Same thing. They actually are posting on social media, come armed. We don't want anything bad to happen, but come armed. This is outrageous. If you want to take this issue on, and if she wants to take this issue on, it's very simple. Don't do drawings of someone that actually violate their faith. Post all the countries in the world where people who do this are executed for expressing their right to expression. If you want to call people out on that, call them out. That's a good thing to do.
Like Saudi Arabia.
But we wouldn't be talking about it. I mean, that's part of the draw is to get people talking about it, and it's an issue that perhaps we should be talking about.
Was that an attempt at wordplay when you say part of the draw?
Yes, it was.
Wow. Outstanding.
It is now.
Anyway, coming up next, White House attorney arguing Obamacare gets slammed by federal judge. You'll have to find out why next. This is the Daily Wrap, live from New York City.